She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Word of Mom Radio here on the Word of Mom Media Network. I'm your host, Dori DeCarlo, and you know we are here week after week, show after show, breaking those myths that mompreneurs and businesswomen, especially those of us building our businesses from home, that we're just dabbling in between bake sales and getting our nails done, we're not. We are smart, we are savvy, and we are sharing the wisdom of women in business and in life. And I am enjoying the opportunity to bring today's guest into our coaching corner. Shannon Russell is a career transition and business coach, empowering women to leave unfulfilling careers and build joyful, purpose-driven businesses. She is the author of Start Your Second Act, How to Change Careers, Launch a Business, and Create Your Best Life, a speaker and host of the Second Act Success Career Podcast. You know I love sharing fellow podcasters. Through her company, Second Act Success, Shannon shares her journey as a television executive turned business owner, coach, author, and mom with others. She works with women who are unhappy with their 9-to-5 as they pivot towards a second act, providing an exit strategy guidance and support as they transition from employee to entrepreneur. Shannon began her career spending over 16 years as a television producer in New York City and Los Angeles, working for MTV, E, Yahoo, Pop Sugar, AE, A&E, TLC, and more. She then made the leap to open her own business, running a STEM education franchise teaching children so that she could be more present for her children. Now, as a certified career and business coach, Shannon's motto is produce your best life, and her mission is to motivate more women to make big moves in life. And I love that mission. So with all that being said, Shannon, welcome to Word of Mom Radio.
I'm so excited to be here with you, Dori. Thank you for having me.
I am thrilled to have you here, and I would really love for you to take us on that journey from television producing around the country to now what you're doing now.
Absolutely. Being a television producer, working towards that goal, I've wanted that since I was a little girl. So once I achieved it, it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it, my dream career. And then I became a mom, which was another dream career. And that's when things started changing. I had my first son, and then 3 years later, I was about to give birth to my second son when everything kind of came to light, and I said, you know what? I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't think I can miss big events. I had missed my firstborn's first birthday and Halloween's, and I was just working long hours and had a really long commute, and I was traveling. And I just said, maybe I can hang my hat up and say that I've accomplished a lot. Let me figure else what else I can do with all of this experience. And that's when I started thinking about what my second act could be, and kind of went through different paths trying to figure out what else I could do with television production experience. And I ended up opening a franchise business. So that was my first venture into something new. And within the first couple of years, I really rose the ranks, and I was in the top 3 to 5 of everyone in that organization. And I said, whoa, my skills really did transfer. And so that gave me the idea to start coaching other women who were like me and felt maybe misaligned with their careers that they chose at 20 later in life. So that's when I also opened up my career and business coaching practice. And yeah, it's been great. I've since sold my franchise business last year, and now I'm full in on my coaching business. And it's been really wonderful to see other women be able to start their second acts as well.
I love that. And it's true. What you were passionate about when you're in your 20s might not translate 20 years down the line or 30 or whatever time down the line. So how do you work with women? Because let's face it, that big leap from going from employee to entrepreneur is so hard. And people always say, when is the right time? And I always say now, just do it. But how do you help women understand that it is okay to make this kind of a pivot and recreate their lives?
Well, that's what it is, right? Just understanding that you're worthy of changing things up and starting something new. And a lot of the women that I speak with don't feel like they are able to kind of cause chaos in their life and switch things up, which I have to say, well, we can do it in a way that is methodical and strategic so that you don't cause that chaos. And so that you can say, well, I'm going to take all these skills from what I've been doing for the last 10, 15, 20 years and develop that into something else, whether it's a business of your own or some other role where you can make that very strategic change. And we look at finances, we look at their confidence level in the choice that they're thinking about moving into, and just kind of all of that. Like, just I'm just that accountability partner to help them get there. Because as women, as moms, we are in charge of the house, in charge of the kids' schedules. We're holding it all together, and so the fear and the overwhelm of making a change is a lot. And sometimes the partner isn't supportive, or friends and family aren't supportive because they're scared of you making this leap. So as a business coach, I can really sit there and help hold their hands through those uneasy moments to show them that it is possible and you can get there.
It's amazing to me because so often, especially women who have been home raising families, don't realize how much of those skills translate to business, organization,
Yes.
scheduling, conflict resolution, budgeting, time
Hmm.
management, you name it, food, all of it. It
All
all
of it.
translates to business. And how do you help them realize that, you know what, these are life skills that are marketable and money makers for you? You have that basic, if anything, honed instinct and ability as a mom running a household.
Oh, 1000%. And also the idea that maybe you're not thinking about going back to your previous career. And now you've got these young kids and you want to figure out what fits into your schedule. So there's a lot there that we dive into. And I'm certified in UMAP, which is an assessment, a career and business assessment that hones in your skills and your personality and your values and everything that you are good at. And then the things that you might be good at that you just don't want to do any longer. And once we have that kind of compiled, it helps us steer in that right direction. And a lot of the women I work with are moms of young kids, and they don't want to go back to that 9 to 5. They want to create a business that gives them that flexibility. And that's exactly what I did when I left television. And so I understand the importance, and we really work towards, okay, let's take your skills from your 9 to 5 job you had. Let's take all of that experience running the household and being a mom and put that together with what really interests you and what your passions are, and build a business around that that still gives you that flexibility and that freedom that you need, because we do need that. We can't go back to a 9 to 5 if the kids get off the bus at 3. It's a tricky situation.
How do you help women find that exit plan from that 9 to 5? Because let's face it, it's that, oh, that steady paycheck, giving up that sense of security, which to me is such a false sense of security. Because when you're an employee, your job can end in a day. You can
Mhm.
walk in, they'll let you finish the project you're on, and then they can say, thank you so much. Bye bye now.
We both know those stories. We both know so many of those stories. And I think what's important is right now I'm actually working with just two clients that popped to the front of my mind that are in their 9 to 5s, but they're planning that side business now. They know that they don't want to be there, long term, and they know that there's a chance they could get let go in the next round of layoffs. So they're trying to build this business while they're earning their paycheck. And I think that's a really smart move. And so when I talk to people about exit strategy, it's really looking at how much do you need to bring in this new business you're thinking about? And maybe you do have to work another 6 months or longer while you start building the business now. And there's so much that you can do, registering your business, coming up with your product line, making those partnerships, setting up the website. All of that can be done while you're working and earning that paycheck. So There's a lot that you can do. And also, I think equally as important, it's leaving on good terms. You know, the whole saying of never burning a bridge. Those people that you work with, your partners, your clients, your customers, they can be your future customers or partners when you do open your business. So I think it's important to be respectful, thank them for all of the time and what you've learned, and say, I'm just going out on my own now, and I hope you can support me.
How do you create that pathway,
Mm.
when you are doing that? Because for so many people, and again, it's the time management and everything else, because when you factor in, okay, you're transitioning from job to being your own boss, kids, spouse, or significant other, or single parent, that you're
Mhm.
doing it all on your own. How do you create that pathway and those building blocks that
Yeah,
make it happen?
yeah, that's such a good question because everyone's different. I feel like every situation is slightly different, but it's looking at what you're thinking about, because I've had women come to me and say, I am just so unhappy in my current situation that here are 5 to 10 different things I want to do. Here are my different business ideas. And then we start looking at them and they say, ooh, that day to day of that is not what I want. So a lot of times I spend time with clients really taking that business idea or whatever it is that they're thinking about and really making sure they're confident about it. Because then if they're confident, that helps them, get excited, and they can be confident when they start telling other people, and we can get all of those pieces in place to say, okay, let's see how long I need to continue working. Let's see how much money I need to, invest in this business. Let's see what that market research is. Let's look at other businesses that are already out there. What are their reviews saying? What are their customers saying? How much are those people charging for their services or products? So we have a lot of research we can do, which again leads to that confidence. And then we can start planning, okay, what can we do in whatever your timeline is, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and say, what can we do each month leading up to that to really make that progress and to keep that momentum going. And while you're doing that, you'll see that progress. And that just, again, gets you more excited about it. And there's going to be times where the kids are keeping you busy and you just can't get anything done. But by having a roadmap, like a schedule of this is when I'm going to work on this, when the kids go to bed, over your lunch break, whatever it might be, you will see that progress. And as long as you keep moving towards it, that's where the real satisfaction comes because you're going to get from where you are now to where you want to be.
On that note, think of what Shannon just said. We're going to take a quick break, say thank you to our sponsors, and we'll be back here in just a moment on Word of Mom Radio. She is brave, she is bold, she is you, and we want to tell your story. Are you ready to share your journey with us on Word of Mom Radio? Go to wordofmomradio.com and register as a guest. We want to tell your story because when you win, we all win.
In 2017, Unsilenced Voices was formed to help survivors of domestic abuse and gender-based violence worldwide. The organization currently serves Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Ghana, and the USA. In 2022, Unsilenced Voices gifted over $33,000 to survivors in the USA. And in Sierra Leone, there are over 26 young girls who have been rescued from sex trafficking and domestic abuse and now going through vocational training school in order to better their lives. We need your help. Donations are critical in order for us to continue our work. We also need volunteers to help with research and development. Please visit unsilencedvoices.org for more information. And we're back here with Shannon Russell, and we are talking about that second act of moving from employee to business owner. And I love it. I love Second Act Success. I think it's a great name because it really is a second act insofar as you've spent your time in the trenches. And now it's time to dig your own trench and play in your own sandbox and transition that. So how do you, right from the start, I'm coming in. All right, Shannon, I'm done.
What's my next step? Because I'm sure people have to come to you with no idea of what they want to do. They just know
No
they
idea.
don't want to do what they're doing.
Dori, that is where I think it's important to not just have that shiny object syndrome and jump at the first thing that comes to mind, because you don't want to end up where you are now, just in a different role. So it is important to really figure out and take that time, not rush it, but take that time to figure out that you're making an absolute 100% decision that that business that you're going to open and that pathway, that roadmap is going to be what you need. So what we can do, what everyone listening can do right now is just write down a list of all of your skills, everything that you're currently doing or that you've done in past jobs, any big accomplishments or experiences you've had over the years in your career. Write it down. And then start looking and say, what brings me joy out of these things? Because there might be things like managing a budget that you might be good at, but don't want to do any longer. And I think when you're starting a second act, you can be a little choosy about what it is that you want to move into. So by looking at like a simple list in front of you, you might get ideas of like, you know what, these things that I circled are things that really interest me. And what can I do every day that makes me want to get out of bed? Like, what would make me excited? For me, in my first business venture, it was working with kids and helping kids, think like engineers with STEM education. And then I realized that my passion was really just working with other women who were feeling stuck like me. So that's where my passions have lied when I chose those business paths. So I do that with my clients as well. Just look at what would make you excited. Look at your list of skills, what aligns, what's that thread between the two, and then you can start making that decision. And then researching what the day to day in that role would be, talking to other people who are doing it already, and just really learn about it before you leap. I think that's really important to remember. And again, getting that confidence up. So you're like, I'm excited about this next chapter.
Do you find that for some people, buying into a franchise is a productive way and a smart way for them to go into business, as opposed to the people that you work with that are starting a product or a service?
I do, and I'm biased because that's how I got my venture into entrepreneurship. For me, it was like a business in a box. I found this company that had the same idea that I was thinking about creating on my own, but they had already ran the market. They already had their success. So I was able to speak with other owners and really validate that this was a business that I wanted to venture into. I met the CEOs and the owners of the business. And then with buying in and investing in the business, I got everything ready for me. All my marketing materials, the curriculum I was teaching, everything was in that box for me to just take and grow. So it was still a lot of work, but I had that support system that I think you don't always have when you're starting a business from scratch. It's usually you as that solopreneur. So franchising, I am a fan of. For it just depends on your personality and the type of franchise and business you want to open. But I'm a big proponent about it, and I love as a business coach being able to speak to that with my clients too, who are thinking about it. And I do have some clients who have ventured in that direction, and then others that say, "Nope, I have this idea and I want to do it on my own," which is great too. I've done it both ways, so. I think it just depends on your personality and where you are in the process.
I like what you were talking about before we took our break about your business plan, but also your scheduling insofar as, especially as a young mom, where you're scheduling things in between feedings and nap time and preschool and everything else. I've always said this to people that you can go anywhere without a map. You'll eventually get there. But if you don't put out how you're going to do this and create that plan, you're going to wind up places you don't need to go. You may not be at that place of the business plan where you're going to go into the financials and all your projections and everything else. Because let's face it, unless you're looking for funding, you need to have targets for yourself, but you don't have to go that deep in unless you're taking a business plan to a bank. But it is really important to have those checks and balances in place. How do you work with women, helping them facilitate that? Because it really has to come, you can get your little cookie cutter, but it really helps you hone your ideas.
Absolutely. When we get to that stage of working together, there really are like going through the step-by-step checklist that I have to really make sure that everything is put in place in the business. I have a program called the Second Act Accelerator, which is you come in, you already kind of know your business idea at that point when you're entering the program. And within 3 months, you have your business built. And that's where inside that program, you get all of the business forms and templates and ways to set up those systems for whatever level you're at, whatever, are you getting a business loan? Do you have a partner? Are you a solopreneur? Are you opening an Etsy shop or a brick and mortar? It really depends. But we go through all of those steps throughout. It's a course and coaching. And so we go through all of that to make sure that those systems are in place so that once that business is live, you feel again the confidence and ready to go because there's so many elements of it. And if you are doing it in between everything else you're juggling, it's nice to have that person helping you to remind you and say, hey, did you register your business? Did you open up that business banking account? Did you get your logo? Did you do this? There's so many pieces to creating whatever type of business. I really tried to make it as streamlined as possible for people because I felt like that's what I could have used when I was starting my business.
What do you wish someone had said to you when you were starting your own business, Shannon?
It was that it was not going to happen overnight. And I am a very type A person. I reached a level in my television career where I was successful and things were falling into place and everything was great. But starting a business, you kind of have to check everything at the door and be as humble as you can and say, okay, I'm putting in even more work than I did in my 9 to 5, but I'm not reaping the rewards just yet because any money you make, as you know, goes back into the business for quite some time. So it was probably 18 months, maybe 2 years into the business where I really was starting to bring money into my family's bank account. So there was a lot of that growing and learning and just checking in with myself to say, okay, I'm doing everything I can. Keep going. Because I think people don't talk about that interim period when you start a business. You see these bigger franchises like McDonald's and Subway, and they are just making their money right off the bat. But normal businesses aren't like that. So I think I wish someone had told me that it was a long game. So I could have checked my anticipation for it and just been more realistic.
Way back when I was a kid when McDonald's came out, I'm sure you were not even alive. It was $5,000 for a McDonald's franchise. Right. Yes. I saw your
Wow.
jaw drop. Now you have to
Yeah.
have $750,000 in assets to be able
Yeah.
to get a franchise. So when you put that kind of money down, there's never not been a successful McDonald's. I am somebody who's never eaten a McDonald's hamburger. And I know that makes me in the total minority, but it's also when people get involved in multi-level marketing, which I am a huge MLM fan because people have made a lot of money, but people expect this get rich quick scheme that it is not. And it's why very often when you have a new business, you have a couple of years before you even have to file business taxes. They don't expect you to make money off the bat. And if you're expecting to make money off the bat, stay at your job where you get a paycheck because you have to build it up. And it is hard. It is a huge transition to go. And as you were saying earlier, this is how you coach people that, hey, you may need to stay at your job for a few months longer. So you have a little backup and everything, because you have to expect a little bit of downtime and you have to give your business time to grow.
You can start it while you're working. I think that's really important. Or I've just with the way the world is going with people getting laid off and all of these crazy things happening with larger corporations right now. There's a couple of my clients that got severance packages and they were really smart because they said, you know what? I don't want to go back into the market again. I'm going to create something of my own and I'm going to use this money from my severance to work with you and be able to do that. And I think it's so wise to really start creating something of your own. And luckily, they have that money to do so, to invest in their business. But it really is a smart thing because there's so much uncertainty in the job market. It's just not stable like it was years ago.
I grew up, you went to school, you got your MBA, you went to work for IBM, and you were set. That was the way it was. I did theater, I went the opposite direction. It's amazing because as somebody with a small business, as somebody who has been a mompreneur since last century. 94 is when I started my first business, single mom with my little kids, and back where, when are you going to quit this and get a real job? And here we are all these years later. I started a podcast to give women like us a voice. Because again, when are you going to quit this and get a real job?
You and I are so much alike.
Yeah, Shannon, you know what it's like. It's like, people don't take you seriously. I actually have friends of mine, oh, your fake little radio show. How long have you been doing it? At that point, it was 10 years. They're like, 10 years? Anybody I know ever gone? I was like, well, Sarah Mann and Billy Ray Cyrus launched their cover of Tears from Heaven on our show, and their jaws kind of dropped. I said, we've had very interesting people on our show because women control the money. Yes. You want to tell somebody something, tell a mom. So that fact that you are working, as we're wrapping up, what do you want to say to that mom who's listening, Shannon, who feels so stuck in her job that she doesn't want to do, and she has this fire and she knows she's got this idea that would work, or a passion that's not being fulfilled? What do you want to say to her, Shannon? And how is she going to find you?
We get one life, and I'm so big on living our lives to the fullest. So I would say give yourself grace, research what you're thinking about. You're worthy of making a change and not disrupting everything. You can do it in a really methodical way where you can live your best life, follow your dreams, and do it now rather than waiting for this perfect time down the road that may never come. So yeah, I would say reach out to me, secondactsuccess.co, and everything there, my new book, my podcast, the ways to work with me, and some free resources too. So secondactsuccess.co.
I hope that you will reach out. All of Shannon's links are going to be live on the show, including the link to her podcast, because it is a podcast you're going to want to listen to. I thank you so much, Shannon, for being here with us and sharing your second act. I love it. I really do. This is a fabulous second act. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Dori, so much. I really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. And for all of you tuning in, thank you so much for being here. And we're going to close out with our fabulous theme song from Smith Sisters and the Sunday Drivers. So till next time, this is Dori DeCarlo saying go out and create a marvelous you. Bye for now.
She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Sure of herself, yeah, she takes care of biz. Powerful and strong, yeah, she knows who she is. Has integrity, woman strong and true. You know her by name, see this woman is you. She is sure, she is sure. She is strong, she is strong. She is true, she is true. She is brave, she is brave. She is bold, she is bold. She is you, she is you. She is you, she is you. She is sure, she is sure. She is strong, she is strong. She is true, she is true. She is brave, she is brave. She is bold, she is bold. She is you, she is you. She is you, she is you. Adds value and hope, has proved to be brave. See, it's never too late, never time to behave. Reaching for dreams, doesn't matter the age. Believes in herself, unleashed from her cage. She is sure, she is sure. She is strong, she is strong. She is true, she is true. She is brave, she is brave. She is bold, she is bold. She is you, she is you. She is you, she is you. She is sure, she is sure. She is strong, she is strong. She is true, she is true. She is brave, she is brave. She is bold, she is bold. She is you.